Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another Deadliest Warrior episode. This one is the Vlad the Impaler versus Sun Tzu, the literal inspiration of Dracula versus the guy who literally wrote the book on battle strategies that we come to know of today. Uh, this is actually is one of my favorite episodes of season two, and just the sheer hype I had for this when it was first announced. Like, oh hell yeah, I want to know like which one of these two would win in a fight. Uh, but yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/talkativecarl. Thank you all for the recent subscribes on both my Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You guys are amazing. Uh, Next month we'll be wrapping up season two with the last three episodes before we eventually in November move on into the final season. I was kind of hoping we would have got to the vampire versus zombie episode by Halloween, but it doesn't look like this is going to be the case. But that's all right. Um, when I started this whole thing, uh, it was like a little bit like even if I started like 3 episodes per month, I probably wouldn't have still made it to that point anyway. So that's all right. Well, when we get to it, we'll get to it, and I eventually have to figure out. Well, this is probably the only watch along that I'll be doing because I don't want to sit there and run the risk of any kind of copyright or anything like that. Even then, even so, what I've been doing is keeping the volume low because last month 2 of my videos were blocked because maybe it's because the mic picked up the sound from the episodes, except for the one out of the three. So after this whole thing's all said and done, then you know I'll have more time for more movie reviews and TV show reviews, uh, uh, and chaotic lore videos that I've been doing. And then thank you all for checking those out. And if you haven't checked those out, I've been working on since last week all the Spider-Man movie films that I've been doing spoiler reviews for, just to make sure that I get all out in time for by at least by December, including Venom 2. I want to make sure that I probably got to do Venom 1 then 2 back to back in a single week because it comes out on October 1st. So I want to make sure that all Spider-Man related films, including Spider-Verse, is I do spoiler review videos for each one of those before December 17th when No Way Home comes out. So I want to get all that out as quickly as possible. I won't say as quickly as possible, but I want to make sure that we have it. Also, at some point, I need to start doing because I'm doing 2 Hawkeye related reading 2 Hawkeye related comic books for spoiler or at least reviews for those. But then afterwards, I'm gonna start doing reviews for Spider-Man related comic books as well, for Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man Noir. Might do a Spider-Man Spider-Pig one, definitely. 2099 Spider-Man, a manga Spider-Man. Yeah. So that way I have, because I got Spider-Man as my profile, and I haven't done any Spider-Man related thing until like recently with the first movie, so I want to make sure I get all those out before the movie comes out. At least for maybe not all the comics, but at least a fair bit of it before the movie comes out. So that way, you know, it's gonna be a lot of Spider-Man dump going on right now. So look forward to that. So enough of that. I'm gonna get myself adjusted. Everything starting ready. So get your timestamp to 0. Go to the episode for Vlad the Impaler versus Sun Tzu, and get ready to press play when I say now. And then 3, 2, 1, now. Playing as Vlad the Impaler on Deadliest Warrior Legends was fun. And his weapons are just like, and it's awesome, but I love doing his special moves so he can like impale people, because like, I don't know, it might sound kind of sick, but I think like impalement is kind of like a, I don't know, it seems like it was like it's crude and it's effed up, but I gotta say it was definitely like an effective fear tactic, you know, not only amongst his enemies but his own people were like scared. He ruled like a small area of Wallachia. He definitely like held his ground for the longest time until his death. Yeah, we kind of, because I think because he didn't want any kind of like images of himself uh displayed anywhere. Just like Genghis Khan didn't want any images. No, I think it was Attila Hun. Attila Hun, I think, was the same way, where he didn't want any kind of vestige of himself anywhere left behind after his passing. And it, uh, his body, Vlad's body, was never uh, found. No one knows where it was buried. It was, or at least supposedly, wherever he was buried, and somebody tried to grave rob his corpse. Nobody found his body, and I think to this day, nobody ever knew what happened to his body after it was buried. It kind of feeds into his the myth of Vlad the Impaler, because it's said that, which they'll mention in this episode, he was so wicked in life that even Satan wouldn't allow him access into hell. I even have the Art of War downloaded on Audible. You know, so like I always wanted the book. Maybe at some point in the future I'll get the actual hard copy. But I have like the audio version. It's read by Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, which is pretty cool. I imagine if you're like visiting Vlad, you better come correct. Because if you hear stories about him and stuff like that, you do not want to like you gotta show the like, probably like the utmost respect. I mean, like impaling is like a very effective tool. Not gonna lie. And speaking of Vlad, for like, obviously, I want to do some like uh some kind of like Halloween themed kind of movie reviews. I think uh at some point on Halloween I want to do Dracula Untold for a movie review. I think that is like I think it's obviously like over time grew to have like a cult classic because it's legit pretty damn good, and it's nice because it's not just like a you know origin story for Dracula. It's also kind of blends well with his actual history, and so I think it's pretty dang neat. And it's supposed to have started the Dark Universe, but because it didn't get like crazy box office numbers, uh, it kind of moved on. But the thing is, uh, it was around that time when Universal was just like DC or Warner Bros. Was trying to uh, play catch up with Marvel. It wasn't until after the Invisible Man when they started getting their ducks in a row. So uh, I really wish they should like bring back Luke Evans who played Dracula uh, uh, for Dracula because they have like Ryan Gosling as the Wolfman. I think that's pretty dang good. So highly recommend watching The Invisible Man. It's really good. As a matter of fact, now I'm thinking about it. Uh, uh, well, probably is depending on like what I have going on in October, I definitely want to get some like classic horror movie monsters movie films out there for movie reviews. So like Dracula Untold, uh, Benicio del Toro played the Wolfman in 2010s or 2012. The Wolfman movie that was pretty dang good. So I want to do that. Invisible Man, Dracula Untold, uh, for October because those are pretty damn good Universal monsters for modern time. And just seeing like the impairment, on a test dummy, it's like it's not something you get to see every day. Of course, the impaling thing is not like going against any other weapons on Sun Tzu's side, but it's just something obviously has to demonstrate. You're dealing with a guy who's known for impaling. Why would you not show it? So I'm so glad that they showed it. That killers is badass, man. I love uh the samurai's katana, but this I think this is like just tie or just barely like edges out the katana as far as like just a cutting power. It's just like clean right through, whap whap whap, done. No struggle at all. There is some debate whether or not Sun Tzu actually existed in history, and like all the strategic uh, stuff in the art of war were designed by various people that eventually culminated into a book. But just like most legends, it has to have some kind of truth, or it has to start from somewhere. And it's a wow. It's wild that it's like a 2,000 year difference. It's like it's like time travel is like some kind of time vortex, and Sun Tzu fall through or something like that, and he travels 2,000 years to the future and sees like medieval times with knights and stuff like that, and he's seeing like he would think like that was like technologically wise far superior. It's like looking at laser guns to him by comparison to like it's like a him having a 6 shooter and you're looking at Vlad's laser gun by comparison. It'd be wild to him, and it's like wow, the 2,000 year gap is like as far as like time wise, it's like amazing how much evolved since Sun Tzu's time between that and the time of Vlad. I mean, I am impressed with the Zen, but it's like I know it takes like some fair bit of technique to utilize it, but it's like you gotta respect the fact that with the killers you can just without wasted energy you can just lay into a body and drop it with just two, 1 to 3 slashes. You're done. You don't even need all the effort. The few the few images they managed to get of Vlad the Impaler. I mean, the guy that got to reenact the for the warrior. I mean, fairly is close to what like because the images that I've seen like in like documentaries and stuff for Vlad the Impaler, like he had like a mean look to his face. I mean, it's just like kind of grimacing. Like look if you look at him like probably like in if you existed back then and you see his face, you'll probably be terrified of it. Just looking at him because it's like that grimacing look to him is like it's like uh you probably left in like an impression on you if you ever met him face to face. So like he's got like a thick mustache and long black hair, but it's just like his eyes. The images that I've seen and like in paintings and stuff like that, the few that are around, he had like a piercing black eyes. Yeah, I was never too thrilled about them having uh these kind of like very stereotypical Fu Manchu dummies they had going on. Like I don't know what was these guys thinking. I mean, I wouldn't like toss whoever set up the display. I wouldn't just toss the word racism like willy nilly, give them the benefit of doubt. But they should like put some more forethought into the mannequins. Because like one of the Sun Tzu experts did mention that in the aftermath. Because like wow, it was like I wasn't too pleased with that. And like the expert just just mollywop that those mannequins, like the one that experts for the Sun Tzu experts mentions, like, yeah, I was like literally, like he was joking, obviously, as you watch the aftermath. It's like, yeah, I was like literally, I was like was about to, like, if one of those was holding, like if one of those was holding the abacus, I was gonna walk off, and then like the expert who whacked those mannequins with the poleaxe, not the poleaxe, was like the gun club thing. It's like, yeah, no, like, I have no problems, like, because he took us, like, yeah, I got your back, man. Don't worry about it. Because, like, like he had no trouble, like, just like whacking those racist dummies. And I'm glad they keep, bringing up about like several strategies, Sun Tzu utilize in his tactics, because it's very important. Like utilizing like the terrain, uh, using it as your advantage. Like know your terrain, uh, and like use it to your advantage, and use it against your enemies. Like putting like oil in a surrounding area and shooting fire in the spot when as soon as like your enemies walk past it. It's like I've seen it in many video games, and more recent in when I was playing like the last Assassin's Creed Valhalla game, and they have like people like coming through in a particular area after you put down like some oil or whatever, and then you light the explosives nearby as like you get them caught up. It is an effective way of taking down large numbers of people, whittling them down to the point where you can easily take on the remaining. Yeah, I mean, like I was on board with the fire arrows, like setting off like you know, uh, you know, a field of flames and everything like that. But one on one, the fact that it's wadded, and the fact that the tip is so hot, even if you manage to get through the armor and get into the skin, it's actually cauterizing the wound, which pretty much decreasing the damage and effectively you healing your enemy in a way. So it's like you're kind of like yeah, I wouldn't say the weapons are ineffective, but it's probably best not to utilize it one on one against that actual person, and instead of just use it to light up a field, instead. Might be pretty more effective that way. Crossbows. Another fun thing I want to try out one day, a crossbow. I mean, it's cool to see that repeating crossbow fire like that. This archaic version of a crossbow, but it's still pretty cool, especially when you just load in that little slot. Yeah, the steel crossbow is like I never was a fan of it using it in a game because it takes so much time to reload after each shot. I did not honestly when I first saw this, I actually believed the steel crossbow would still get through that leather armor, and the way it just bounced off like that, it was like, wow, that was actually a bit impressive. I did not expect Sun Tzu's armor to be you know effective against arrows, or at least not arrows as utilized by Vlad in his day. Okay, final weapons test. There's certain like reenactments of like their lives day to day kind of situation. When you go up against like an opponent and they're just standing there waiting to get hit instead of like showing them actually blocking or just charging straight ahead without like when he's like hiding behind his soldiers with shields up, and then as they drop down, he utilizes a repeating crossbow, and it's like, and they're still charging, the opponent's still charging at him. It's like, stop. you just walking into a volley of arrows and you're still charging. I mean, it's like that kind of stuff. Is like wow, like halberd. Halberd has shown up at least one of those few frequent weapons shown up throughout the series. I don't know why, but this might sound bad, but I don't mean it in like a completely horrible way. But that Vlad expert, the one who's testing out the halberd, is a little bit of a weirdo. Now, I like my fair share of weirdos just as much as the next person, but it's just that he like, you know, it's like 100 on 10 on a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think like the Iron Claw is more so like a special weapon than anything else because it's definitely unique in its design. But so far as like the halberd is actually a legit kind of pole arm. I mean, that was like harsh. That's what I'm saying. Like you go to meet like Vlad, you better come correct. Cause like if you know exactly what this man has done, the reputation he has, and the fact that he got like forest of impaled corpses, not only do you walk on a person's homestead, you because like in general, you walk in somebody's house, you respect their house, like you take off your shoes, that kind of thing, and it's like even though I know it's customary to their religion to not take off their turbans, and they're probably hardcore religious about their culture at that time. I think like you be more I think you probably should like abide by his requests, lest you uh be in threat of death. I mean, I thought that was like this. Why I mean, like, just take off your fucking turban. It's just the two of you. Take off your damn turban. Because this man is not the type to be played with. Sorry about that. I'm dealing with it's like a fly in here. Oh God. I think after I do, because this Friday I will be doing review of a movie review of Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight. I think afterwards, because I'm not going to be doing another Yu-Gi-Oh video until like next week. But uh, I want to get back into some Street Fighter 5 and probably Akuma, because I was debating whether or not do a video with Akuma or Ryu. I might do like Ryu. It's like it's all depends on what I'm feeling. I might do Ryu because I really like the design of bearded Ryu. That was like so damn cool. Okay, here we go. And the helmet, Vlad wore looks dopey as hell. I mean, of course, it's not meant to look cool, but I'm just saying. How you lose a man who's literally limping? And I like the fact that even in the reenactment, they really want to show off him using his strategic moves. And it was not hard to watch, but wild to watch when I first saw this ending. It's like, man, they really made sure they made Vlad like brutal as hell. Cut off Sun Tzu's arms, I mean, not arms, but hands, and then impaled him. Obviously, got to impale him. So yeah, man, that you know that definitely wasn't a cool episode. But every time I see that ending, it was like, ooh, yeah, it's just like and like the actor for Sun Tzu, like he sold that agony and scream when he's getting his hand cut off, and then like even like I think the most effective like a good horror or thriller, the more effective of scare is the ones that you do not see. And it's like the fact that it's like off screen and you hear him screaming, obviously being impaled, and then cuts to him like on it, like this carcass on a stick. It's just like, ugh. And I think like, I don't think it's like if I was like let's say it's like a what if I was like a dictator? I think impaling is probably like the most effective tool beyond actually like any kind of bomb I could drop on on a particular city. And it sounds like I think like that was like in a weird way a lost art. The fact that that's more the psychological scars is probably more effective than any kind of scar you can physically inflict on a person. More so, more often than not, because I think like just imagine coming to a particular territory and you got like no, maybe not like a forest, but like a decent amount of like a dozen or so impaled bodies out, coming out the ground, and it's like, I mean, honestly, that is so effective. Like so far as like like a mind fuck. But yeah, I mean, like, let me know what you guys think about this particular episode. Like, honestly, I love this episode. These two words are so iconic, or at least infamous in in Vlad's case. But yeah, look forward to next month where we are doing the last 3 episodes for season 2. And yeah, take care. Have a good night. I will see you guys Friday for new movie reviews. Maybe not Friday. Today is Monday. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be oh shoot, I forgot. I gotta spend some time and still on because I want to wrap up FF10, and I think I'll do so tomorrow. But I want to spend a little extra time, uh, leveling up a little bit more and acquiring more distilled mana and stuff, because we're on this, coming up to the final boss pretty soon, and I want my characters as high of enough level as possible. So like I'm nearly there, but I need like at least an hour extra time just grinding a bit. But definitely at some point tomorrow, probably gonna be a little bit later than usual. And so not too late, because I still gotta go to work the next day. So I want to make sure that I spend like some ample amount of time with this. So hopefully it'll be like the last video for FF10. Matter of fact, no. Scratch that. I think it's probably best that I get back into Horizon Zero Dawn tomorrow instead after work. And then on my normal days off from streaming, like Wednesdays and Thursdays, I will put some time in for grinding for FF10. And then by Saturday, I'll probably be ready and to hop in to wrap up. So anyway, yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn tomorrow. Then I'll take some couple days break. So take care, everybody, and have a great day. Have a great night, or I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. So